Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a tutorial how to do bullet journaling using my 2023 pre-made bullet journal. Now I'm going to be going through every single one of the pages in here and sort of talking through the sort of inspiration behind the page, what I use it for, how you can use it if you want to do it. Now obviously this is pre-made, pre-designed, and a couple of people do have one of these. If you manage to get your hands on them, thank you so much for supporting me. If you don't, you can definitely still follow along with this video because you can still use the pages as inspiration for what you might want to put in your journal, and how to use them again is really helpful for understanding like what I use them for and why they might be useful to you. Now, first things first, I want to talk about pens because I get so many questions on these. I don't really put much thought into the pens. I literally just go on Amazon and type in dual brush markers and kind of buy whichever ones I deem the best value for money. So I got these, they're 60 piece and they look like this. So 60 different pens, lots and lots of different colours. And I really like these. They have, I'll get one out to show you. So obviously two ends on the pen. You have one end that is like this with the brush marker, which you use for most things, and then one end that is just the nib like that. And they all have that. Most of them, realistically, you could probably fill out the whole journal with just the brush side. So if you find some of those that are cheaper, they will 100% do. If you want to use highlighters, colouring pencils work really well because you can kind of press as hard as you want and not worry about it bleeding through on the page or anything. So pencils are a really good bet. I wouldn't use watercolours unless you have like craft paper in your book. So for example, this book is not craft paper. Watercolour would probably not work on this. I would not recommend that. But watercolour is another fun one that you can use if you do have sort of craft watercolour paper in the book that you have. So before we get started, I want to talk about another pen, which is just the basic black fine liner. This is the one that I've been using sort of all of this year. It's just a basic black fine liner. You can normally buy them in like packs of 3 of the same or packs of 10 with their all different shapes and size nibs on them. They shouldn't really be more than like £12 for a pack. So let's get started. If we open it up, first page will be blank, and I like to start with this journal belongs to page. So of course you're just going to put your name in here. So I like to write everything in block capitals, but I know that might not be everyone's style. So obviously if you want to do like fancy calligraphy writing, go for it. And then we have the pen test page. Now this is kind of entirely up to you if you even want to do this page or not, but the way I will do it is I get my pens, pick a few that like I know that I'm definitely going to want to use throughout the year, and well, test them. So as it starts with black, I will probably do sort of a grey. So I fill in this page here with the colour, do a line here like this, and then I have the dual end pens as I explained earlier, and just do this. So you're kind of directly copying this. You can do that for as many pens as you want. There's obviously 2 full pages for you to sort of test this on. And then we have the 2023 page. Again, you can leave this blank, but my sort of intended use for it is that you guys colour in these pages here. So I will colour in all of these along here like this, in however I want, all across the thing until the page is sort of completely full. Might do different colours, like I didn't really like that shade of red, so I'm going to swap to a different shade of red and just do it across like this, and that is how I will fill the whole page in. Then we have the colour key and the calendar. So the colour key is just for, so the key here is for all of the months. So you'll notice at the top of each month page, there is a little icon here that's just to indicate the month. So I've sort of duplicated that here so you have the little icons, and then you have keys. So I like to do things like bank holidays. So on here, I might colour in this square, and then right next to it in my pen, bank Oh. So then when you go over to the calendar, over here, you're going to fill in all of the blank holidays. So for example, the 2nd of Jan is a bank holiday, and the 20, oh, okay, I'm not going to guess the bank holidays. I know in December, for example, the bank holidays will be the 25th and the 26th, like that. And you can do that you can do birthdays, holidays, anything you want, and then just put it on this calendar as a little reminder. We then have year in pixels and weather tracker. So the way I like to do year in pixels is along here I sort of put emotions and moods. So we'll do a few of those now. So obviously going to do things like happy, sad. I like to do things like productive. One of my favourite moods that I like to put in is just a meh, as that's one that we get a lot, and you can just continue filling them in with whatever you want, and then you colour coordinate them. So for example, happy. Happy to me is yellow. So I put yellow. And then again, sad is a dark blue. So I put that in here. And then, for example, if when you come to filling this out, you've filled that out here on the 1st, so these are all of the dates and these are all of the months. So this is the 1st of all of the months. So on the 1st of January, if I say I was feeling happy, I'll fill that square in. And that is like how you fill it in each day. You'll do like 1 square a day, and then by the end of the year, I will just sort of show you what mine looks like by the end of the year. You have them all coloured in and it looks super, super cool. We then have the weather tracker, which again is super, super similar. Obviously the icons are all drawn for you. If you wanted to add any more in, I'm sure you could sort of find a space there. You could do another square in the middle here, put the icon on this side if you wanted to do that. But again, you colour in the different squares in the different colours that you associate with these weathers. For reference, this one is wind. That's just what I sort of visualised wind as. And then again, if that month is sunny, so like if the 1st of January is sunny, you'd colour that box in yellow or whichever corresponding box. And again, for reference, this was this year's journal for me, which obviously is hand drawn, so doesn't look as nice. This is what it'll end up looking like at the end of the year. Now we have spend tracker. Now a lot of people get really confused about this one, but these boxes down here are the boxes that you fill in that associate with this. So for example, one box would be 0. And then this would sort of be greater than 0, but less than, I'm going to do £20. And then you'll do less than 20, less than 50, and so on. And you sort of get bigger and bigger until you get up to whichever the biggest one you want to do. Colour code them as you would and fill them in again the same as previously. Now this splurge list, this is just a way that I like to sort of keep track of any big spends that I do. So the colour code would match here. So probably like the biggest 2 is normally what ends up happening. But for example, last year, things that I sort of put in here, I would put colour in the box, write what I did. So for example, I booked a holiday. So you holiday to wherever you've gone. And then on the line here, I put exactly how much I spent on that thing. So then for the step tracker, along these boxes here, you fill in the different number of steps that you want to sort of track. So I've got less than 1,000, and then I've got increments of 2, and then a few above 10. And then colour in the different ones, sort of different colours. And then again, if on that day you did that many steps, you colour in that box. Now, bucket list. Hoping this one is pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to write in here next to these boxes some things on your 2023 bucket list. And then as you fill out your journal, so every day when you come to your journal, you'll look at the list, you'll be reminded of the things that you want to do, just sort of make sure you're on top of like trying to get them done. And if you do them, you can put a little tick in the box or colour it in green, like whatever you fancy. The reading log. So this, I'm going to be honest, I kind of rushed this page when I designed it, and I think next year I might do it in a slightly different way. But the way that I've done it is you'll colour in each of the different boxes to associate a month. If you finish a book in this month, you'll write the title of the book in here and colour that book in the colour of the associated month. I also want a way that you can sort of do like a ranking system, which I didn't really do in here. So like what I will eventually do is sort of draw, before I colour in the whole book, I would like draw a little star in here, a little yellow star, and then sort of put in it a number from like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, however you want to rank, on like how well you ranked that book. That is how I would do this page. Now, song of the month. So obviously at sort of the end of every single month, you'll come to this page and you'll put your sort of soundtrack for the month. Here you can either do it, I would do it like how it appears in Spotify, so I'd write the name of the song in bold and then the artist sort of underneath slightly smaller. But if you want to get really artistic, you can attempt to draw like the cover album for that song, or maybe like album of the month, however you fancy doing that. And then by the end of the year, you'll sort of have the playlist for the year. And highlight of the month, again, is very, very similar. So as you get to the end of every month, you're going to come here and put your highlight in, either just sort of write a little bit about what your highlight was. If you want to like try and draw a little picture of that highlight, you can do that. If you want to print a little picture, you can do that too. These boxes are quite small. Again, I think I would change for next year is making these boxes bigger so they would fit like an actual Polaroid in them. Now, moving on to the monthly pages. So the monthly pages are exactly the same throughout the whole book. So they're different designs and different themes, but in terms of the actual types of pages that you have, they're the same. So you have a colour and self bingo page, a goals and ideas and inspiration page, a habit tracker page, a sleep tracker page, a mood tracker page, and then the weekly spreads. That is the same across every single month. They just have sort of different themes on them. So this page is intended for you to colour in. So it's basically like a colouring page, and I didn't colour it in on purpose because I know like different people will have different pens, and it would really, really annoy me if this was a different colour to like the colours that I was then able to put on this. So it allows you to completely colour code your whole book. But yes, this is just a tessellating pattern that I designed. You can colour these in however you want, add little bits into the background spaces if you also want to do that. And then the actual pages for each month. So I have a colour key for the month. I like to stick to the same colours for a certain month and try and not mix and match them throughout all the other months in the year, just so that they're like completely distinguished from each other. So January, the kind of colours that I would put in here, sort of like celebratory colours, and these are the colours that you would use to sort of colour this page in. Now, self-care bingo is one that I've got absolutely loads of questions on. So I'm going to show you how I did my self-care bingo in my journal for this year. It kind of works like this. In these boxes here, you put the self-care things that you want to make sure you take the time to do in that month. So for example, in November, I put things like go for a swim, do a face mask. I normally have a few face mask ones in there because it's something that I want to do every week, but I always forget. So having it here just gives me like a nice little reminder. If you want to set this up as like weekly, that's also a really good way to do this because there's normally roughly about 4 weeks in a month. So you try and get 3 things done a week. Things like bake something, watch a movie, go out for dinner, treat yourself. You can switch it up. It can be the tiniest little things or it can be really, really big things. You could put literally have a cup of tea, or you could put something as wild as like go to the spa. It's completely up to you. And then when you go to fill your journal out each day, you come to this, you look at it, you go, have I done any of those things? If you have, you then colour it in around like the words. So you colour in the box with the colours that you've chosen for that month, like this. Moving on, we then have goals for the month and ideas and inspiration. Now I put this in just because I like to sort of keep myself accountable for all of the things that I'm doing. So goals for the month, at the start of each month, you would fill out these 4 spaces, 4 things you want to achieve this month. And then as you go to fill out every day, if you've achieved that thing, you just put a tick in the box. And obviously your aim is to do them all. And then ideas and inspiration this month. This is similar, however, this you fill out as you go. So this is the start of the month, you fill this out, and this is sort of as you're going through the month. Any ideas or inspiration that you have, you'll write it here. And then something that I like to do is every now and then flip through my whole journal and look back on all of the previous ones for previous months and see if I've sort of like done them and then tick them off then. Now, habit tracker is another one that's really, really confusing to everyone. No one seems to clock that this is the outline for the month. So if I get my phone up, you'll see, hopefully you can see this here, that this outline here for January, so this shape, is the same as this shape here, and that is sort of the point. That's what it means. So you would put above it the habit that you want to sort of do. So for example, I want to track when I do my workouts, so I would put workout at the top of this one. And then on the days that you do a workout, so for example, if on the on the 6th of January, on the 5th of January, which is this day here, if you did a workout, you would put a dot in that one. And the same for all of them with all the different habits. You fill this out every day as you go through with a little dot if you did it, or you leave it blank if you didn't. And then at the end of the month, you can see which habits are going really well and which you might want to carry over until next month. We then have sleep tracker and mood tracker, which again, I'm going to use this year's journal as an example. So this is what it will look like at the end. So using those colours that you set here, you will draw, these are the hours along the top here. So say you went to bed at 10 o'clock, you put a sort of starting line here, and say you got up at 9 o'clock, you put it here, and then you'd join them together. And you do that every single day. So these are the hours along the top and the days of the month along the side here. And eventually you end up with something like this. And then on the mood tracker side, you fill in these little smiley faces here with your different colours that you associate with things. And then on each day, so these have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and there'll be one for every single day. You colour that little icon in with the mood that you were feeling that day. So I'm going to colour in sort of the smiley face here as yellow. If on the 1st of January I was feeling happy, but not like super ecstatic, not just average, but like pretty happy, we're going to fill this one in here with that yellow. And then again, at the end, it will look something like this. And now we move on to the yearly pages. Now this is sort of a unique page because I didn't want to do a whole page just for this one, so this has got 8 on it, but most of the pages look like this. So you have a gap somehow for each of the different days, and then this I'm grateful for here. So you'd fill this out every single day. So for example, on Monday the 9th, in this box here, you'd write a little diary entry about your day, sort of how you're feeling, what you did, whatever you want to document in here, that's entirely up to you. I generally just write a little bit about what I did that day. And then at the end of the week, in this little space here, you'll put something that you were grateful for that week. And I really like doing this because it really gets me to like reflect on my whole week. And then this is the same every single week until the end of the month, when you start all over again. And as I said, the pages are all exactly the same, they're just different themes for each one. And that is it, all of the pages. I hope that was really helpful and that it made sense so you guys could go on and sort of do your own bullet journals for 2023. Again, if you did manage to get your hands on one of the ones that I custom made, thank you so much for purchasing. If you didn't, definitely tag me in any pages that you come up with. I want to see if you sort of did similar ones to me or you did something different. And don't worry, I will be releasing one of these now every single year, so get excited for 2024. And that's a long way away, but yes, excited for 2024, where I will be releasing next year's version of these with lots of new different themes. But that is everything for now. Thank you guys so much for watching and so much for supporting me. Really hoping 2023 is going to be a very, very exciting year. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.